Hello. Cathar Love 112. My God is not your God. That title came about when a liberal Jewish rabbi visited Israel, and he had quite a heated discussion with another rabbi, a fundamentalist Jewish rabbi in Israel. And at the conclusion, the somewhat irate fundamentalist rabbi said, "Don't you believe in God?" And the liberal Jewish rabbi said, "Yeah, I do, but it's not the God you believe in." So here's people, both Jewish, both of the Judaic faith, but both having quite different gods. And of course, I think the thing about that is that the fundamentalist God is a God of wrath and justice, and if you're good you get this, and if you're bad you get that. And the New York rabbi took a more liberal view of his deity, his God. Probably he was a bit more loving and forgiving. Before commencing, this is the fourth day, but I actually had basically a 3-day fast. So a cup of coffee on the first day, 2 cups of coffee on the second day, and on the third day I had half a banana for breakfast, and I finished the other half of the banana for lunch with a biscuit, a rye bread biscuit, no butter. But there was a family situation last night, so and there was good food cooked, so enjoyed some good food. But obviously, when you're having a couple of days fast, you don't want to eat too much anyway. So this morning woke up, and so I just kept on going until after lunch, and then I had some fruit. So that's it until now. Oh, now actually I took something else with Chinese herbs. One of the systems of using them is to soak them in alcohol, like in port wine, or brandy, or whiskey if you like. But the port wine is really good, and because it's stronger, there's more alcohol in the port, and that extracts the medicinal wines, the medicinal oils from the herbs, and so you're creating a tonic. And the idea is that, especially with liver tonic, that the alcohol which goes straight to your liver will direct the herbs to your liver. Anyway, that's the theory, and it seems to work, certainly in my situation. So I had a tot of port, and in it I had about 4 or 5 different Chinese herbs, ones that I use every so often. I like fasting. I don't do it to lose weight. I don't do it for any particular reason, but I enjoy it. But having said that, of late there's quite a lot of literature about fasting and what it does for you. And they say the rule of thumb is, if you can cut down your food by a third, you'll live a third longer. But certainly they've shown with people and rats and laboratory animals that by giving them good food, a good diet, but actually cutting down their food dramatically, they live a lot longer, up to 2 lifetimes longer. And my way of going about eating, as far as I'm concerned, is that I just follow the hunter-gatherer diet. You know, we were hunter-gatherers for probably 100 million years or so, and we've only been the lifestyle we have now with grains and farming and so forth for about 700 years. So our systems are really geared to the hunter-gatherer, and of course they used to go for long times without food in between seasons and so forth, and in between when they killed an animal but then they got stuck into it, and then they had to eat it and they ate everything because they had no ways of preserving it. So when I go into a supermarket, I go in with the hunter-gatherer instincts, and so I get fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, and the freshest that I possibly can. But I don't get milk. I have a bit of cream. I put cream in our coffee, if I cook coffee at home, and I roast my own coffee now, which is interesting because the theory is that coffee, once you roast it, lasts for 7 days. After 7 days, it's dead. It's still a good drink. It's still a very tasty drink, but it's lost all its enzymes and a lot of its goodness after 7 days. So basically, each week now, when that lot's finished, I just roast up another lot, buy the green beans. But the Cathars, about fasting, they used to have 3 40-day fasts a year. The Cathar Perfecti, that's the clergy, the men and women, male clergy. The Perfecti, the good men, the good women. And it didn't seem to do them any harm. I probably wasn't too many obese people amongst the Cathars. But on fasting, I've found out that not since then, but over the last few years, which I was totally unaware of, but your body goes into survival mood, and after you haven't eaten for a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, what actually happens, your body virtually gets a complete new immune system. It cleanses the cells, and you get really cleans out all the rubbish and that from the cells, and so it's great for longevity, and also they say it's also great for holding back dementia and Alzheimer's. Well, so far so good with me. But back to my God is not your God. The basic difference, or essential difference, between the God of the Cathars, or the Gnostics, the Gnostic Cathars, and the God of the great faiths, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, is that the source is the most common name for the Cathar God. That name came about from Socrates and Plato. Said there had to be a source, an origin of everything. But from that source emanates pure, unconditional and undifferentiated love for everybody and everything, everywhere. So that's not just every person, that's every tree, rock, plant, everything, both animate and inanimate. There are no conditions put upon that, or we'll stick with the animate, with humans. There's no conditions put upon us, on us living our lives. We live out the lives that we see best, or that's laid out before us. If you're some Somali at the moment and living in southern Sudan, well, life is one, not of fasting. What is fasting? Because there's just no food to eat. It's of starvation. Life is not good. And for a lot of the children, their life expectancy is 1 or 2 years. Pretty nasty business, really. Now, just taking that situation into account, and not that Somali child who's starving, but there's possibly a couple of million starving at this very moment, all over the world, for various reasons in various places, young people. So the question comes about, how can a good God, a loving God, allow this to happen? This is a big problem with the Christian, Jewish and Islamic people. They question this. But to a Gnostic Cathar, this child who starved is only one of his lifetimes or her lifetimes, and it is one of thousands of lifetimes. And within that lifetime we will experience everything. So that includes starvation, fasting, lots of love, lives without love. We are going to, over a series of lifetimes, experience the entire range of human conditions, which means some lives will be rather grand and we'll want for nothing. Hopefully there'll be lives where we help others, but there'll be good lives in good places, in peace, in a peaceful environment. But unfortunately, for many, many lives, and certainly the ones in our past history, will be ones where there'll be good times, but there'll be many times of horror. But when we look at this picture and this business of experiencing every experience, to do with food, to do with sex, to do with life and death, murder, justice, all aspects of life, fairness, unfairness, gay, straight, one colour or race or another, we will experience the entire human condition over thousands of lifetimes. So there, and the point of that is that each lifetime we should be growing towards perfection. When I say perfection, that is to becoming a more loving and decent person ourselves. This is quite different to the Indian and Buddhist idea of reincarnation, called transmigration, where if you act like an animal, you'll end up as an animal. From a Gnostic Cathar point of view, and also from when I say this, this is not just Cathar, this is also when you read books like Destiny of Souls, Journey of Souls, you listen to people like Dolores Cannon, who died a couple of years ago, people who take these people into very, very deep hypnosis, into the super subconscious level. And at that level, when people die, no matter whether they're Muslim or Jew or skeptic or atheist or whatever, everybody, same thing happens to everybody. They are met with their guide or guides. They are there, they go for a period where they discard a lot of the negativity that we have got in our human condition. We'll go before a council of elders, and there we'll go over our life that we went through. But at no time is there judgment. If there's any judgment, it is us about ourselves and the life that we led, and what we would do if there's some aspect of our life, in this life, like maybe not enough food, that in the next life you can experience a life where you do enjoy. It's better off for enjoying food. Who knows? But if you've done something that is not, there is a karma, but there's good karma and not karma that's not good. So if there's a karmic debt, that means you need to understand, if you've broken people's hearts in this lifetime, in the next lifetime you say, well, maybe I should experience what it's like to have a broken heart. So it's not there to punish you, it's there that you'll understand about what the hurt and the pain that you create, or one creates, when one hurts another or breaks another person's heart. I know from experience. So we have a process. So when you look at the process and it's over eternity, there's no hurry. There's many, many, many lifetimes. But at a certain point, when we have perfected, when we have become enlightened, when we have obtained gnosis, not just obtaining gnosis, that we can live. We actually not just theorize about goodness and living good, decent lives, loving people unconditionally, other people unjudgmentally, when we can get to that point, living lives without fear, when we can get to that point, you can get off this wheel of reincarnation. Now, not everybody wants to get off it. There are others, and there's certainly Cathars who said, I want to stay on that wheel until other people have seen the light. So, we have another God of the other ones, and that child, that starving child, who lives for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years, or anybody else, when they die, there's supposed to be a day of judgment, a final day of judgment, and everyone will be judged. There's the Christians, there's a resurrection of the body, because there's only one body, only one lifetime. Well, I don't think it's a very good system. I think it's a terrible system. I don't think, well, most of the people have rotten lives, and there's this deity creating people, most of them, to have terrible lives, and then after that terrible life, judging them on how they went. And if they're not happy with it, send them to the eternal damnation, or whatever, to hell, and on this judgment. So it's one shot. Well, it's the Gnostic, to the Cathar, not the Gnostic Cathar. Hey, you don't do all this stuff like that. Don't get your hairs in a knot. Don't sweat the small stuff. Think about the big stuff. You've got another lifetime and other lifetimes to go through, to learn and hopefully enjoy them. But your new lifetimes are all conditional on this lifetime and previous lifetimes. So it's good, I think, on this lifetime to get a bit of good karma under your belt while you're here. Put a bit of good karma in the bank. So we have a system, well, I'll put it this way. The Gnostic Cathar God is not the God of the Jewish, Christian and Islamic faiths. And in fact, from our point of view, Cathar point of view, in the world of spirit, there are, I won't say many gods, but even in the world of spirit, you're learning, and as you learn and even working more towards perfection, you are also moving up the probably never-ending tier. And under this deep hypnosis, the super subconscious, in the world of spirit, you can tell from the colour emanating from that, all energy sources, or entities of energy, that people of different levels, and as they gain higher levels, they have different colours allotted to them. So the system in place, as far as the Gnostic and the Cathar are concerned, it's not a matter of judgment and justice and reward or punishment. That does not come into it and should not come into our lives. We too should be thinking about the best of people, and there are people now who say that really no one should be in jail, because when we look at the lives of many of the people who are incarcerated and in jail, in so many cases they have had absolutely terrible upbringing, and they say that if they had better families and a better environment, that most of the things, these people that by doing that, they're going to feel better about themselves, better education, all these different things. There are less reasons for them to commit crime and become a criminal. Of course, we'll still have our crimes of passion and what have you, and we need them, because otherwise we wouldn't have Hollywood and we wouldn't have any films, because you've done this to me and you've done that to me, so I'm going to do that to you. So my God is not your God. And basically, to sum up the situation, we have a situation where with Islam and Christianity and Judaism, Buddhism, and possibly some other faiths I'm unaware of, but the major ones, that there is judgment, there is reward and punishment on that. And for the not the Buddhist or Hindu, but for the other three, the Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, they have this one shot at life. Now, within those religions, there are people who are Gnostic, and the early Christians, most of the early Christians believed in reincarnation, and that was the first basically 300 years, and then it was Orthodoxy came in and that was thrown out. There are people within Judaism that also believe in reincarnation, and Gnosticism, and as there are in Islam as well, the Sufis for instance. So I believe that the system of reincarnation, which gives us a chance to better ourselves and perfect ourselves, and our deity is a non-judgmental deity and allows us to be ourselves and to make our mistakes, and sometimes these are pretty nasty mistakes when we can do some terrible things to other people, and yet in that world of spirit we look back, we know which is best and the type of life that we should be leading for the future life that will help give us lessons in things that we didn't do too well. So as a system and a process, which is, as someone said, the journey is as important as the destination, because it's a long eternity is a rather long journey. But knowing this brings one a sense of calmness, a sense of, okay, I could have done better. I'll give it a go next time. So it's not the end. It's It's only one lifetime in a process of others. And also when you have this and you this lifetime is just one of many. And so it's good. It brings a sense of peace and tranquility. There's less agitation, less in one's life. There's less fear in one's life. So my God is not your God, but talking to you, I hope my God is your God. Bye for now.